Hey, sis. All of my clients that have gotten married, that have crossed over to the other side, who are no longer single, all have this one thing in common. They all had a quiet confidence that they were destined, called to be a wife. They all just had this inner knowing, like, I know I'm going to get married one day. And they had this confidence and this air of certainty that carried them through all of their interactions. I want you to think about all the things that they had to do. They had to go on dates, they had to withstand the lonely nights by yourself. They had to go to weddings alone and go to church alone. But through all of those things, they knew just in their settled place, a settled place in their heart, that one day they would find their person. And they did. And I would like to submit to you that that confidence and that certainty, that irrefutable hope was what got them married. I believe that your thoughts create your feelings. They create the vibrations inside your heart. And those vibrations are where you take your actions from. Your actions are going to be guided and fueled by the feelings inside your heart. And then the results that you create in your life are going to come because of the actions that you take. So if your thoughts create your feelings and your feelings fuel your actions and your actions end up as your results, then ultimately your thoughts determine your results. And for the women who were telling themselves, I know it's going to happen for me one day, that is how they literally created their results. When they went out on dates and when they interacted with men, they didn't come with desperation or frustration or discouragement. They came with confidence. They came with a settled hope. They knew they were called. They knew they were destined to be a wife, and they acted accordingly. They came with that energy. And as I've said before, your energy determines your impact. I like to look at the contrast. The women that I see that don't have that hope anymore. They've lost that hope. They're so discouraged. They're walking around with an air of disappointment and sadness because they don't really think it's going to happen for them. I'd like to submit to you that they tend to get not great results. They go on dates and it's a real just struggle. They don't enjoy themselves. And the dates don't continue on to getting into a relationship. So, yeah, I'd like to submit to you that the women who walk around with a confidence that they are going to get married one day literally create that result. And then the women that don't do that, the women that walk around with discouragement and a defeated, lost hope, then they don't believe they're going to get married anymore. They create that result. So I'd like to submit to you, what result do you want to create? Obviously, you want to get married. You'd like to find your person. You want to find a man who adores you and respects you and cherishes you. And so I would submit to you that the first place that you need to start is with hope and belief that this can happen for you. There's a beautiful tension, I believe, for a believer. There's a beautiful tension for someone who is trusting in God and submitting to God's will in their life. And there's a beautiful tension where we submit to God's will in our life and we have confidence that He wouldn't have placed desires on our hearts without a reason, without a purpose. And I believe that we can hold that tension purely and powerfully. that we can trust in God's sovereignty in our life and have confidence for the things that we desire because we believe that our desires are being led by the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is placing those desires in our hearts. So I want to submit to you today, go in faith that the desires in your heart are placed there by God, and that God will, in His timing and in His will, fulfill those desires that He placed in your heart. The women that have gotten married, the women that I've coached that have gotten married, and there are many of them, all have this in common. They had a confidence and a quiet inner knowing that they were meant to be married, and they didn't have they it's not like they never got discouraged or sad, but they were always meeting that discouragement and sadness with confidence and hope. And you can do the same. Let's get you married, sis.